So kind of like a la David Letterman, for those of you that are in my age group, if you're younger, he was a late night talk show host, coming out with the bond top 10 things you should know before you vote. There's obviously more than 10, but we want to highlight just a couple real quick. Number 10, the bond is for $200 million, which is a 1.85 mil increase. $200 million, completely understand, is a lot of money, but keep in mind, we'll look at the properties that we're using to upgrade. We're actually going to be working on 15 different properties. So that 200 million is divided between 15 different properties. Number 9, the proposed Bloomfield Hills School tax bond rate increase of 1.85 mils will place Bloomfield Hills Schools as the 5th lowest in Oakland County. This slide we have an updated. In March of this year, Pontiac School District passed a $147 million bond with 75% of their community saying yes. So when we update it, Pontiac should go up above Bloomfield Hills, and Bloomfield Hills will go back down even with passing of the bond. Number 8, still getting questions about what can the bond dollars not be used for? We can't use it for salaries. It can't be used for service contracts. We can't use it for lease payments, installment contracts, supplies, repairs, maintenance or maintenance agreements, purchasing automobiles, trucks, vans, portable classrooms purchased for temporary use, textbooks, upgrade to an existing computer operating system or application software, computer training, computer consulting, or computer maintenance or contracts. Could be used for Chromebooks and iPads and things like that, or Promethean boards for the classroom. That one would be a yes. So just to have that distinguished between the two. Number 7, the current Eastover building would receive renovations. Whoops, let me go back, sorry. The current Eastover building would receive renovations and become a Blumen preschool location. And then the current Conant Blumen site would receive an addition and remain a Blumen preschool location. So we'd have preschool at Eastover and at Conant. Number 6, the bond passed. The bond will align the district by grade level. So we'll have Bloomfield Hills High School. We'll have middle school north, middle school south. We'll have elementaries Way, Eastover, Lone Pine, and Conant. So 4 elementary schools, Conant, Eastover, Lone Pine, and Way. Eastover would move into the current East Hills Middle School site. Lone Pine would move into the current West Hills Middle School site. And Conant and Way would receive renovations and additions. Again, the 2 middle schools, Bloomfield Hills Middle School North at the Losser site, and Bloomfield Hills Middle School South at the Bloomfield Hills Middle School site. And both the Losser site and the current BHMS site would receive additions and renovations to become 2 middle schools for all district students in grades 6 through 8. Something in for the whole community. In Bowers, in the plan, the farm will receive upgrades that would enable residents to enjoy the space as a public park, which is something the community has expressed an interest in. The Franklin Road Maintenance Building, which is roughly 15,000 square feet, high ceilings, would become a STEM center. I know part of my presentation at Fox Hills when we talked about the association meeting last night, a lot of interest from a couple parents in being involved in a steering committee and really working with the different providers that are in the metropolitan area to really bring STEAM and STEAM career exploration and internships. And I know President Colin and I had a meeting with a different individual that would be very interested potentially in seeing what they could do for this location as well. We know we have a World Championship robotics program. We know there are the jobs in STEM. We know we need a facility that if we need to pivot from STEM to AI and those things, it would be very beneficial. In addition, a pool will be included, Bloomfield Hills Middle School North Building. This pool will have opportunity for the community to use it for recreational swim as well. Number 4, these are all the properties that would be touched. So Blumen Preschool Eastover, current site, built in 1955. Conant, which was built in 1960. Blumen Preschool at Conant, which was built in 2001. Eastover Elementary School, current site of East Hills Middle School, built in 1962. Lone Pine, current site of West Hills Middle School, built in 1966. Way was built in 1966. The Middle School North, current site of Losser, was built in 1967. The Middle School South, current site of Bloomfield Hills Middle School, was built in 1958. Bloomfield Hills High School, which was built in 2015. But keep in mind, about 25 to 30%, the West Wing area, as it's referred to, is part of Old Andover High School. Bowers Academy, which was built in 2010. The Traub Building, which houses International Academy, was built in 1965. Wing Lake, built in 2008. And then the Johnson Nature Center, the Booth Center, which was built in 1962, with the district offices and prep, and then transportation, maintenance, and storage. So that is where the 200 million would be spread out. Number 3, this proposal would enable Bloomfield Hills Schools to create barrier-free playgrounds, classroom spaces, and ensure all experiences meet the needs of all learners. As you can imagine, buildings built in the 50s and 60s simply just don't do that. Number 2, safe and flexible. We can provide both a safe and flexible learning environment for our students by utilizing both modern school design concepts and safety practices. And number 1, the world changes, so careers change, and learning must change. And I really, really enjoy this graphic. And you just can't remain stagnant. You got to continue to move forward. And I remember talking to you, President Colin, one time, and we were having a conversation. You said, it's kind of like BlackBerry. BlackBerry didn't change, and look what happened to them. They basically don't exist, and everyone's gone to an iPhone. And iPhones are always moving forward, always adapting, always changing, always, aware of their environment. And it's time for us to move forward in the 21st century. So I'm paraphrasing that conversation we had, and I know it was something like that, but if I misquote a little bit, feel free to chime in.
No, that was right. I was one of the last ones to go from a BlackBerry to an iPhone, but if I had BlackBerry stock now, it went under. So yes, I think you summarized it quite well, Superintendent Watson.
All right. Thank you. That is it for the top 10 of the bond. Again, there's more than that. Watch the Facebook Live. If you're out there, if you don't get a chance, we got to talk about our favorite things. Alan shared his favorite part of the bond. Mine is the STEM Center. And then Andy Giniak, he tried not to share what his favorite was, but we kept putting him on the spot. So if nothing else, watch the interaction between that so you can hear what Andy's favorite thing about the bond is as well. Thank you.